You know, we're always doing that before the podcast. We're talking about video games before we actually start the podcast.
You're giving a look to me like you've already recorded.
Yeah, you
hit record. I'm also hearing myself.
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo. It's no big deal.
Which I do not like.
Just don't worry about it.
I don't like it. I came here to talk, not to hear myself. This is why I don't listen to the podcast.
Right.
Come on. Hey guys, welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast, I guess. This is a podcast where me and Brian talk in this microphone to you. Possibly.
To be clear, there are two microphones.
There are. We do have separate microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you a look. You know?
Yeah, I see the look you're giving me.
Right,
I don't know what it means.
It What's up? How's things? It's been forever since we recorded, by the way.
It kind of has been forever. And
pull the curtain back. It's been a long time.
Also, so much has happened that we have too much material for one episode, which is good, yes.
Finally.
So we don't need to scrounge for ideas.
Grasping at straws here to find
plenty to talk about.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well,
video games, perhaps?
Yeah, probably.
That'd be interesting.
So something finally came out. So you know how with Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in like, what, 2005?
Yeah.
And we had a few in-between games, but Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't come out until, I don't know, last year?
Yeah, 2 years, I think, almost now.
Was it 2 years?
But yeah.
But yeah. So we were waiting, what,
insane.
13, 14 years for it to come out?
Insane, yeah.
So there's another game that I've had similar feelings about.
Oh, yes.
So in our very first episode, we talked about Phantasy Star Online at one point, which is one of my favorite games, one of my first RPGs of its kind that I ever played, and it's a game I really enjoyed. They came out with a sequel of sorts, Phantasy Star Universe, which was really meh.
Really meh.
Just
meh is a good word for it.
But then I see an announcement for PSO2.
PSO2?
And they've got this in-depth character customization and stuff like, oh, cool. And then nothing. And then a few years later, I'm like, hey, did that PSO2 thing ever came out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. In Japan.
Sure did.
And then
America doesn't want that.
I don't know what it was. If it was like 3 or 4 years ago, our friend Perry said he had been playing it. I'm like, oh, is it out? And he's like, no, I'm playing it with English patches. Like,
with
great.
Like fan-made English patches. Like, geez, are you serious?
So
insane.
Then the other day, I'm at my cousin's house.
Yeah.
And our, let's see, one of my cousin's husbands.
You can do it.
Yeah. So I'm in the room with my cousin Davey, and my cousin Jennifer's husband is also in the room with us. And he mentions that he's been playing PSO2. And
like,
this time it's not. This time it's not the Japanese version with English patches. It's actually in the US. So I go and look, and sure enough,
there it is.
There it is.
You had no idea.
There was no announcement that I ever saw.
How funny.
But yeah. So,
I didn't even know about it. So
yeah.
I don't know how I missed that. I pay attention to these sort of things.
Right? And so I immediately had to go and download it, which it is free to play, but it's like there's some stuff you can't get unless you actually pay, but you can play the base game for free, which is all I cared about.
Now, is this Xbox only, or is it PS4 as well?
I know it's for Xbox and for PC.
Okay.
I first tried it through PC, but it was a Microsoft Store app, and those are terrible. So halfway through installation, when it decided to stop working, I was like, I'm just going to play this on my Xbox.
Yeah.
But before I actually get too much into the game itself, I actually wanted to go ahead and
you want to talk about the original
dive
first?
into the original so that we know where we came from.
Yes. Our roots started at the bottom. Now we're here.
My first online RPG, which I never once played online.
Yes.
Not once.
True.
Because
I mean, getting the GameCube online is not an easy task.
So I had the broadband adapter for the GameCube, and I hooked it up to our Comcast router, and I was digging through like
I remember how
PPPoE settings and
you
stuff.
You tried so
And
hard.
this was before I really knew anything about networking. I could probably figure it out now.
Yeah.
I'm a networking engineer, but then again, I've never worked with like PPPoE or any of those weird
old
protocols, so who knows. But so I never did once get it working online, and also on top of your internet connection and everything, you had to pay a hunter's license.
Yeah, there was a
even do it.
subscription
So-
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it just never happened.
Nope.
So
But great split screen. So whatever.
So I won't repeat too much of what I said in the first episode, but
I don't remember the first episode, so I probably will
okay.
repeat myself.
All right. So first time I ever played the game, and to be clear, I'm referring to Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2 for
Plus.
the GameCube. Well, I will talk about Plus in a minute, but this was just not. John and James had the non-Plus version.
Oh, the white
yeah.
box instead of the blue box.
Yeah. And it did originally come out on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And then
So we are referring to the GameCube port.
yeah, this is actually one of a few games we've done that with, including both of the Sonic Adventure games.
Yeah, a lot of great GameCube ports.
Which all Sonic Team, interestingly enough.
Yes.
Yeah. But so I go to my friend John and James from high school. I go to their house and I play. They're like, "Oh, you've got to play this game," and I tried it out, and I'm like,
You're like,
I didn't really even like it that much because I couldn't get a hang of the controls. It was really awkward, and so
I mean, you really weren't even into RPGs much. I feel like you liked, Paper Mario and Pokemon.
Yeah,
but
just
like,
Pokemon and Paper Mario, which were
not like deep JRPGs.
yeah,
and
they were
stuff.
both 2D turn-based RPGs.
Yeah.
So that was
Very-
my only exposure
very
to RPGs
simple,
at that point.
sort of kid-friendly RPGs.
And then when it came to 3D games, I was only used to one type of control layout where you have like Super Mario 64,
N64 style.
Ocarina of Time, which I didn't really play hardly at all. But
Yeah.
but it used a similar control
Right,
layout to
for sure.
Mario, and yeah, and then a handful of action titles at the time. I honestly can't even remember that well, but
Third-person 3D games. Yeah.
yeah. So then later that year, at my birthday party, they both came over and they brought the game, and they created a character for me and just created a big mech with a
Big android.
with a long range rifle, and we played, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun. We played 4-player, just a local game, and
on what I'm sure was a tiny TV.
oh, absolutely,
It must have been so hard to see ourselves.
This
in
was
in
probably
4-player. The split screen's so small.
To be fair, this was we probably played on the living room TV, so it was probably a little better. It was probably more like a 40-inch.
But I do
CRT.
remember us all. We always sat pretty close to the TV, so
Yeah.
you could actually see yourself.
And then in my bedroom, I had probably a 17-inch CRT.
Yeah.
I played this game on that CRT for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Because even with the advent of LCDs and stuff, like
We had CRTs for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I still have one sitting in another room that's just unused, but yeah. They left the game at my house.
Yeah, which was the best thing.
Yeah. So for like the next 3 months, I played the game
Just
nonstop.
played it like crazy. They apparently didn't care
Yeah.
that we had it.
I finally eventually did return it to them.
Yeah.
And then that end of that year at Christmas time, Mom got me episodes 1 and 2 plus.
Which you are holding right now.
I looked up the difference
still have
between
the
the regular
original.
and plus, and I actually can't remember.
Yep.
what they were.
I honestly have no idea what the difference
They were
is.
pretty inconsequential.
Pretty much the exact same
differences,
game. But the blue box is cool.
So
This
let's
this
see.
one is more expensive, right? No?
I think so.
Nowadays?
Yeah.
Still? Which, by the way, worth a lot of money.
Yeah, this is like $120 game or something.
Yeah,
now.
a lot of retro shops sell it for $120, $130. So that's pretty cool to have a rare game that works really well still.
Yeah.
Nice case too. Case is in pretty good condition.
Yeah. So to this day, I don't know why I like this game. This game is nothing but grinding.
Yeah.
Literally.
True.
There is nothing more to this game than grinding. There is a story, and it's not bad, but it's
Yeah.
really simple
It's a
and really
vague
predictable
story,
and not super
Definitely
inventive
not
or
about
anything.
the story.
The story isn't like super deep or anything like that. and there's only a handful of classes. There's only 3 races.
Yep, 3 races.
There's
yeah.
only so much customization. You can basically
color, hair.
Yeah, color, hair, and even the hair. It's just a set number of styles, and then you can change your proportions, but like on like a macro scale. So like you're either big and tall, or short and fat, or short and skinny, or like
nothing super in depth.
Yeah. And there are some classes that are clearly better than others for
ridiculously
at
better.
least for solo play.
But like some are just like not worth playing at all.
Yeah. And I think it was just in an attempt to give some variety.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I mean, even the areas, there's 4 main regions with like 2 or 3 areas each. But even that, it's like they're pretty small considering.
Yeah.
And they don't like change ever. So like once you've learned them, you know them forever.
There's the forest, the caves, the mines, and the ruins, and it's always the same forest, the same caves, the same mines, and the same ruins. The only thing that changes is there a few doors move around, and stuff like that. That's about it.
Yeah, but you like know the layouts pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pretty much memorize them.
And yet, we love this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite all of that.
I put more than 500 hours into just one character on this game.
Yep. And you didn't get to max level still.
Oh, yeah, nowhere near.
It is such a ridiculously grindy game. Past level 100, it's just ridiculous.
And even the quests in the game, they don't give you EXP, so they do offer a little bit of change up from the monotony of just going through the levels and just killing enemies and moving through the levels. The quests at least offer some extra characters that have personalities, not necessarily like they're very one dimensional, but they still have personalities. I guess
at least they're unique. Yeah.
And it's just fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's weirdly fun.
Yeah.
I mean, so basically the reason I played it was the character customization.
Yeah, the super limited character customization.
Yeah, it's limited, but I still love creating characters.
Then again, I guess there wasn't a lot else at the time.
At least not that I
like
had played.
That. Yeah.
Like, I think there was some, but it was fairly new. Like, PS2 era stuff started doing that. But, like, I just loved creating a new character. Getting them up to level 10 and then deleting them. Creating a new character.
I got a second memory card so that I could have more characters.
So you can only have 4 characters a memory card.
Right.
But yeah, we literally would get multiple memory cards just for PSO characters.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
And
who was your favorite class?
So
I do want to talk about the classes.
I did play primarily as the raw cast.
Yeah,
with
Ranger.
The male android ranger.
Yeah, the big robot.
Yep,
he's the big one,
and he has the highest attack stat of the ranger class.
Mm-hmm.
And being an android, your HP restores automatically over time, which is
nice.
Pretty nice. And at higher levels, it's actually fairly fast.
Yeah, definitely.
It's actually pretty good. At lower levels, it's super slow, so it's not all that useful.
Basically doesn't exist. Yeah.
My second character, who I've also spent a little over 100 hours on, she does probably 4 times the damage.
Yeah, her
of my
damage
ranger.
is insane.
She's
a force user, which is like the magic.
She's a female Newman force, and Newman is kind of the elf of this game.
Yeah. So she's the shorter elf with the really long ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has the highest mental strength stat.
Yeah. So she's definitely, would you say she's the strongest character in the game?
Arguably, either that or the male version of that, who has
the dumb shoes.
Some bonuses to attacks.
Okay.
So their raw damage output might be ever so slightly higher, but yeah.
See, it's so sad because he's almost cool, but then he has the dumb hat and the dumb shoes.
It's the dumbest looking class.
He looks so stupid. That's why you never play. And then there's the faux Marl, right?
Yeah.
The male human.
Oh yeah, the faux Mar.
Yeah, the faux Mar. He is so cool.
And he's the worst class in the game.
He looks so awesome, and he is the worst class in the game.
Because
it's so terrible.
It was an attempt to make
a
mainly force user who
could also use weapons,
who
right?
could also
like
was
a saber or
somewhat
something.
proficient with weapons, but it just winds up being terrible at both.
Yep, he's
basically.
he tries, jack of all trades, but really just a
Master
loser.
of none.
Yeah, master of
Yeah.
none. So
Terrible at everything.
yeah,
And because it's a
So
human, no bonuses really of
Yep.
any kind.
Yeah, no
Humans
android.
the worst race in this game by far.
yeah, androids. You have a lot of bonuses and not a lot of downsides.
Yeah, with
So-
androids, you don't have to worry about TP at all, which is just their name for mana, technique points.
Yeah.
Because instead of magic, it's techniques.
Yeah,
which
is
same
just
thing.
which is just magic.
Yeah.
yeah, 100%
But
magic.
yeah, no mana, no to worry about, no spells to try to have a good rotation for, no need to worry about weakness and resistance. You have some traps, which are sometimes
Yeah,
kind
they're
of useful,
pretty-
but I feel like at higher levels are just kind
They're
of
pretty
worthless,
useless, yeah.
honestly. And then the HP regen. So I definitely think they're the most beginner friendly class.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I mostly played androids,
Yeah.
but
And
that's
then
just because they looked cool too.
also rifles.
I love
by far the
rifles.
best weapon in the game.
I know, I love rifles.
So like I think the Rockacil is actually the best beginner class.
Which
The
one is that again?
female android
The female
ranger,
android.
because she has the highest defense
and
stat.
her look is so cool.
Yeah.
she can look so cool.
There's a little
her.
quest, like a quest line where there's this red one who's like, and she's got weird powers, and you're trying to like chase her down and rescue her,
Nice.
and then like she blows up.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Rip. Yeah, I loved collecting weapons and stuff in that game.
Yeah.
There's it was also obviously it was the first game like that for me too, and so it gave me some of the things that I still like in RPGs and stuff, collecting all the different colored weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like in that game there's like tiers of weapons,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Goes-
sort of rarity, but it's also by strength.
Yeah. So green, blue, purple, red, yellow.
Yeah, so green, is the first one. Then
Yep.
yellow, gold looking,
Yeah.
is the best. And yeah, I always loved when you got to blue.
Yeah.
it's like, oh, these are so cool.
Yeah.
They're blue.
And you know what's great is having one higher level character is if I randomly stumbled across a really good weapon that was below me, but good for a lower level
Yeah,
character,
exactly.
I could give them to all my
Hand
lower
them to
level
each other.
characters. And so I'd have this level 10 ranger with like purple weapons
Yep.
because
Yeah, like
of my higher
right.
level
So that
character.
right when they can use them, you just have them. Yeah, because playing first one player, you can you're able to use purple and red weapons way earlier than you find them usually,
yeah.
for sure. So
Yeah. So,
that's
like-
super helpful.
And then there's 4 difficulty levels in this game.
Yeah, there is difficulties, isn't
Yep.
there?
So, and they're based pretty much on just numbers. It's damage output
much
of
do you wanna
enemies,
grind?
how much health the enemies have, and how fast they move. And that's the only difference.
That's true. They are way faster.
At least between normal, hard, and very hard. Ultimate changes things,
Ultimate's a completely different game. Yeah.
sort of. It's basically the same game, but
I mean, the skins are
yeah.
completely different. I
Yeah,
should
exactly.
say.
All the textures are different.
Yeah, all the textures are different. Everything else is the same.
All the maps look different, and all the
Yeah.
enemies have different names and look
But at least
different,
it's different,
but they function
you know?
basically the same.
I mean, it's kind of cool that it's sort of a new game.
Yeah.
That's nice. But
And so, so you go through normal mode, and you can't get to hard mode until you've beaten normal mode. Until you beat
you gotta,
the boss of the ruins, the Dark Fowls. You have to beat him on normal
pretty
mode.
cool final boss.
Yeah, in order to unlock hard mode, and then you have to beat him again on hard mode to unlock very hard, all the way
Very
to
hard's
ultimate.
pretty insane.
So my force was stuck on very hard mode for years.
Yeah,
because
she had damage, but not.
yeah,
she
she
could
was a
not
total
handle
glass
anything.
cannon.
Yeah.
I would get all the way to the Dark Fowls, and then he would one shot me every time.
Yep, like every attack of his just,
And not even until his final form. He would change to his final form,
and then you were dead.
and there was one of his attacks in his
Yeah.
rotation, just one, but it was strong enough to one shot me every time.
Therefore, it's over, and you
And then
you have no way to.
I'd go
return
grind.
from
I'd
that,
get
so.
items with high defense.
Right,
I'd go
doesn't-
and fight
just
him
did
again.
not
Didn't
matter.
matter. I had to go up about 10 levels. No, about 20 levels from when I first got to the very hard mode ruins
that's-
to finally beat
And that and at that stage of the game, 20 levels takes a
it did take a
long
while, yeah.
time.
It took probably 30 hours.
Yeah. Of just grinding pretty much.
Just grinding.
Pretty nuts.
I even did it a couple of times. So I did this. I did a 2-player game, but it was just me.
Yeah.
And I just had 2 controllers.
I remember you doing this.
And I had my high-level ranger who was already on ultimate mode.
Yep.
And I had my force. And I took them both through the very hard mode ruins. And I got to the Dark Fowls.
Also,
and I beat him.
There's a point in the game where if you're strong enough, enemies don't hurt you.
Yes.
Like you like
lower level enemies.
Yeah, you automatically block them, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So like when they attack you,
if
just
you go
sort
to
of
normal
misses.
mode as like a level 100 character, you will probably auto block every attack.
Yeah, you will not get hit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But that is very useful for if you're helping grind a lower level character.
Yeah, so a lot
You
of
just
the times
aggro them all and then
I would bring my
kill 'em.
high level character, and then me and my friends would start a bunch of low level characters, and my high level character would just run into the room and just start getting attacked.
Yep.
But none of the attacks would hit, and then everybody else would just get free kills.
Yep.
Without taking any damage.
So funny. It's also where I was introduced to the concept of like last hitting
Yeah.
and stuff. So like getting a shot in to get EXP basically.
Yeah.
In that sort of trope of MMOs.
Yeah, because as long as you get one hit on the enemy, you get experience.
XP. But getting the last hit gets you just a little bit more
Yeah.
EXP too. So yeah, that's where I learned that whole concept, which I had no idea at the time is in like every MMO and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool first MMO though, because it was just like sort of casual and we weren't actually online.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Since we were playing in offline
Yeah.
mode. And you know what's great is it's a game where you don't have to be connected to the internet to play the offline mode.
Yeah, you can just play.
Because there are games where you can't do a single player offline mode at all.
Yeah, like it's actually compared to a lot of MMOs, it's got a pretty impressive single player or multiplayer offline. Like they're usually not that good, I feel like.
Yeah.
Not that much to it at least.
And so you can play single mode or multi-mode. And even if you play multi-mode, I think maybe not in offline mode, but you can technically in the online mode you can play single player in multi-mode. And there are more enemies and they are harder.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't think it
There's
scales
a
with
lot more
player
enemies.
number. I'm pretty sure it's just in multi-mode, this is how many there
One
are, and
or
this
2
is
to
how
4.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Totally. I think so, yeah.
yeah, so I
does
think
seem
it's
like the
just
case.
as hard in 2-player as it is in 4-player.
Yeah. So in 4-player it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like because you just got shots going at enemies constantly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, interesting. I was sort of scared of enemies, especially when I was first starting to play it. So I always liked rangers with long range rifles and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get in there with a saber or anything.
I just liked that.
But then I found the daggers and I'm like, oh, these are really cool.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to use these.
No, that's the thing is some of the coolest weapons are kind of the least practical.
Yeah, they're really, and not as strong.
Because the rifle has longer range than any other weapon,
Yeah.
and I think than most spells.
Yep.
And it does, I think, the highest damage out of any of the ranged weapons against a single target.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're basically the best weapon as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
They have a good balance of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sure, there are other weapons that
sabers
do
are
more
really
damage,
strong,
but
but-
they're only close range, like
Yeah.
sabers and swords.
Like a
and-
gold saber will get the job done, but
Yeah.
but you're really in it, so yeah. And they all have different names,
Yeah.
right, for every color.
Yeah.
So
Because
rifle's actually just the green first one.
Yeah, it's sort of at least players who have done like user wikis and stuff have used the first form to refer to a class of weapons.
Right.
So like
I mean, it is the rifle class, but like
Yeah.
a blue rifle's called like
sniper,
a sniper,
and then a purple's a blaster, I think.
yeah, I don't remember them all. Wow, I'm surprised I don't remember them better.
Yellow's a laser.
Yeah, the yellow's called the laser.
I don't remember the red. I think
Yeah.
it's just beam.
Yeah, I think red is beam.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So like,
like-
but they look exactly the same. There's different colors.
Saber, brand, Palash.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the brand. The
Yeah.
brand's the blue one.
Oh, Palash might be red. Purple's Buster.
Purple
And
is
then,
Buster, yeah.
Yellow is Gladius,
Yeah. Gladius. Yep.
like a
Nice.
gladiator sword.
Yep. That's fun. I was also like, oh, it's a lightsaber. Oh, it's like Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
This is so cool. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you know what's funny is so like a friend of mine. So when Ben was first trying to get me to play Halo 2,
Now, who's Ben? He's a friend of yours?
yeah. When Ben was first trying to get me to play Halo 2, one of the things he thought was really cool about it was that you could dual wield. And like,
Yeah.
I can dual wield in PSO with mech guns.
Yeah, I am mech guns. It's stupid.
I had never played an
It's
FPS
so
before, so I
stupid.
had no idea what Halo was going to be like.
True.
I also had no idea that I'd like Halo 2 more than most other games. But
I know. Gosh, that hit us really hard.
But yeah.
That took over our lives.
And then of course,
Yeah.
mags.
Good times. Mags. Oh, they're
So you have this little
they're so cute, dude.
floating
They're awesome.
robot thing that just floats over your shoulder, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Sup, I'm
Yep,
here."
what's up?
You can feed it items,
I'm a little helper.
and
the
it
little
increases your stats.
Feeding little Tamagotchi game. That's
Yeah.
added
As
to
you
this.
increase its stats, it increases your stats
does quite a lot.
equally. So,
Yeah.
like, if you increase its strength,
very
your
helpful.
strength goes up. So, I didn't realize
We were dumb.
really at first how to do this right. So, like, I would just use one of those items that increased all stats evenly.
Yep. Star atomizer.
On my ranger, Star Atomizer, and of course, then I had a bunch of mental strength.
If you're dumb,
which I can't
that
use.
sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
I'll just increase all my stats.
but really, I just wanted to get it to level 200 really quickly.
Yeah, we did not know the concept of min-maxing.
Yeah. So I had been kind of min-maxing for a long time in Pokemon and stuff, but that was totally different.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, turns out mental strength is a pretty useless stat to have for a
when you're an
class
android
that
who cannot use magic.
So,
Whose TP bar is black and
Yes.
yellowed out because it shouldn't. Why is it even there? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Right? Because they didn't want to pull that out of the UI.
Yeah, that's too much effort. I just love. I have very fond memories of like playing 2 or 3 player split screen, and we're all playing it, and we have an egg timer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
you can feed your mag roughly every
Yes.
15 minutes.
Yep.
It's more like 14 minutes and 30 seconds or something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'd always have
Or
a
was
little
it
egg
5
timer.
minutes? Gosh, I
It
don't
was
remember.
shorter than that. It was
Yeah.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we just always have an egg timer going. Because we're like, oh, time to feed our mags.
Yep.
So fun. Such a classic, kid nostalgic gamer moment.
So just like with
Epic gamer
Pokemon in the
moment.
way I used the Cinnabar cheat to get
Oh,
tons
we're
and
going to
tons
talk
of
about
Master
the
Balls and
photon
Rare
drops
Candies.
glitch.
So yeah. So there was a hard cap of 10 of any given
Consumable item. Yeah.
with a couple of exceptions.
But most even main healing items.
Yeah.
You can only have 10
Which
at a time.
really sucked. Like,
Super limiting.
so you could have 10 of each type of healing item, which there were only 3 that healed HP: Monomate, Dimate, and Trimate. Well, and Star Atomizer, I guess.
Star Atomizer, yeah,
Also.
that's like a max.
And that was it. Like, so if you burned through all those in one boss
Yeah,
fight,
you're
which,
screwed.
I mean, some of these bosses have a lot of health and do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You're just screwed. You just have
That's
no
where
more.
that's where a lot of the difficulty comes in
Yeah.
the game, I think.
Which I mean, granted, they created this game to be a multiplayer game.
Right.
That was the focus when they were designing this. They did not.
Yep.
It's
It's not really balanced for one player.
Let's make this a good game for that weird kid who's going to
For
play
sad
it
losers.
offline in single player mode exclusively
For years.
for years at a time. They were not considering my
suck.
use case at all.
Yeah. Sega hates us.
And frankly, I don't blame them because
Yeah.
that's just not what this game was meant
What's
to
wrong
be
with
about.
us?
Yeah. So, thankfully, there was an exploit in this game that
Heck yeah,
allowed
there
me to
was.
get around that.
Yeah, now you found this online, right? You didn't like just discover this on your own.
I think a friend told me about it, but
Yeah,
honestly,
probably.
I can't remember that well.
Yeah. It was the internet was pretty new, so
Yeah. Yeah, I think a friend told me about it because so part of the exploit is that if you how the exploit works really is if you have, say, 10 items sitting in your storage in
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
like,
in the bank,
in
yeah.
your item bank, and you have and you go to withdraw a different item, and then you cancel it, and then you go and withdraw. No, if you go to withdraw those 10
Yeah.
that you have, and then cancel it, and then go and withdraw one of another item,
yeah.
you get 10 of that item.
10 of that item, which is such an easy exploit.
Yeah. And so whatever the
Ridiculous.
stack number is, you get however many that is of whatever item you choose.
Yeah.
And so
So a simple item duplication.
So that was a good way to get 10 of something, but it didn't really help with the limit of 10. Well,
there's one item.
There was a mistake they made in the code to prevent. They didn't prevent you doing this one thing because you could get more than 10 of an item called a photon drop, which is a rare item technically, but it's probably the most common rare item.
Yeah.
Which I'll get onto rare items in a minute.
Yeah, rare items are really weird in this game.
Yeah. So I would use the stacking exploit to get 10 photon drops and then just keep getting 10 more until I had 99.
You can have up to 99.
And then I would put those 99 in the bank and then just use the 99 to get 99 of all my consumables.
I have 99 health items now.
I don't know why you couldn't hold more than 10 any other way. Because if you could have held 99 and this exploit didn't exist, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
The problem wasn't that I needed a way to get free healing items.
Yeah,
I
you
needed
could
a
afford
way
it.
to hold more than 10 at a time.
Yeah. Funny.
But yeah, so
also the nice thing about photon drops is that they sell for a lot.
So
selling 98 photon drops gets you unlimited money.
Yeah.
Yay.
So that's the other thing is money became meaningless in this game. I would just
It's a pretty game-breaking exploit, really.
Yeah, it really is. And like, I wish there was a way that you didn't have to break the game to just get past this stupid 10 limit, but oh well. And that's how I was able to move to the higher difficulties.
Yeah.
Up until then, I wasn't able to.
We cheated through the whole game.
Yeah. Now,
Awkward.
So there was
Awkward.
They created an episode 3 of Phantasy Star Online, which is a card game. A card game for GameCube.
It's a real Chain of Memories situation.
I've played it a little bit. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't even bother.
Although I kind of like Chain of Memories.
But in PSO Blueburst, which they released for the PC
Blueburst,
exclusively.
baby. That was fun.
And I think only in Japan.
Yep. But we played the fan English servers, which were awesome. That was really fun because we got to play online for the first time ever. We're like, this is what it's like.
Episode 4. But yeah, I played it on a private server.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
We did that for a while.
Yeah.
PC,
and it wasn't one of those
PSO.
weird like hacky servers. They just had
It was super legit.
it was just like a legit, but it was
super
just a private
smooth.
server.
It was a good server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it might even still exist.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it might.
But that was fun to finally be able to play online.
That was really fun.
And in that,
Because it had been a long time. There was
Yeah.
a pretty big gap between. Like, that wasn't even that long ago, I feel like.
in that game, the difficulty levels were by character level instead of by beating the last
that was
boss,
interesting.
which made it so the stacking exploit didn't exist, but it didn't matter because you could actually,
It was a much better game.
yeah,
Small little changes that made it
you
really,
could
really good.
avoid any boss fights that you just weren't prepared for,
Yeah.
and then go grind against higher level trash
Regular
mobs.
enemies, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Go to the very hard forests and grind up a little bit. Yeah, totally.
Now, when it comes to rare items, this game has the worst drop rates I have ever seen in any RPG ever. It's like 1 in 20,000 is not an uncommon drop rate for a not even that great
For
rare item.
nothing, basically.
To this day,
Yes.
as we like to say in this podcast,
this
the
day.
phrase "to this day."
Yes. The To This Day podcast.
I have played more than 600 hours in this game.
Easily. Probably more.
Probably over 1,000,
Yeah.
frankly.
Honestly, it's probably 1,000.
I have found, I think, one rare weapon or piece of armor.
Like, actual
One.
weapon. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not even good.
Yeah. I found several photon drops, and those are considered rare items. They're
Yeah.
just incredibly common compared to other
and
rare
then
items.
there's the useless item, the boom arm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So that's one way to get a rare weapon is to
Absolute trash.
grab a rare body part.
Yeah, rare enemy
Which
body parts.
also has a pretty terrible
Very
drop
rare.
rate, but at least
Like,
we've
I was
seen them
I was
a couple
hyped
of
when I
times.
found a boom
Yeah.
arm.
Oh, and also you found it, not me.
I did find a boom arm, and I was so hyped, dude.
But
it's so useless.
You can use that to create a boomaclaw or
And we
whatever.
never did.
And it's not that great of a weapon. Also, I think it requires another rare drop.
Yeah,
in
it
order to
requires
even
multiple
create that.
to like
And
craft almost.
We
Yeah.
never found that.
Never found it. Ridiculous.
Also, so if you with your armor, you have slots, and in those slots you can put various slot items that just increase different stats. And there's one of the rare items I've found a couple of are add slots, where you can just add a slot to it.
Yeah, it's just a consumable that you just equip and it adds a slot.
For how rare it is, it's kind of feels like a waste to use it on almost anything because...
Yeah, you have to be really attached to that armor because you upgrade armor pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So
I got to the point, I think, where unless I find something rare, I don't think there is a common upgrade to the armor that I currently have. So any add slots I find are actually worth putting onto this.
Right.
But,
right. On your main Ranger, I mean, you have like 7 slots, don't you? Like a ridiculous amount.
And I think it's called like Ultimate Armor or something.
Pretty cool.
I think that's the highest level
so my
armor
main
piece.
character was the same class, a Ranger, because I guess I just wanted to be like my brother. I don't know. But he was like, remember he was kind of short and it was black and red.
Yeah.
That was Azel.
Yeah.
And I think it's like sad. I think my highest I got was I think I was level 67.
Oh, wow. That's higher than I thought.
Yeah. I think that's my highest I ever got on a character. But yeah.
I've only gotten above level 50 on, I think, 3 characters.
Right. Well, I've never gotten above level 50 on anyone else. So all my others were like 20, 20 something. So
it's funny.
How much is Razor again? Your main character?
He's probably, I think he's like 115.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. He got
sad.
I got to ultimate at like level 67 or something.
Yeah.
And then I actually grew pretty quickly because of how much EXP the enemies gave, but good grief, their health. Oh, yeah, they're just all damage sponges.
It takes so long to kill a single enemy.
The reason I never beat the mines on Ultimate was because the enemies just have so much health.
I remember the robots. What are they called again? I don't remember.
I don't even remember. But
anyway,
good grief.
You would just shoot them. And they'd fall down, get back up, and you shoot 3 shots again.
So here's the thing.
My
in
gosh,
normal, hard, and very hard, that's how it works. But in Ultimate, they don't fall over. They just keep coming.
Jeez. Those are scary robots. They just
and in Ultimate, they
at you
float.
Constantly.
They don't walk, they float.
That's true.
And so here's the thing. In most of the enemies in the game, if you do... my usual trick is to do a normal attack, a heavy attack, and 2 heavy attacks.
Right.
A normal and then 2 heavy attacks.
Because all moves are 3 combos.
Yeah.
Or 3 move combo.
You can do 3 hits consecutively before there's a pause.
Yeah.
It's just like a brief pause.
And you
there's
have
no
normal
reloading
and
or
heavy
anything.
attacks.
You just there's just a pause.
Yep.
And
normal or faster, but weaker, heavy or slower, and stronger.
And normal are more accurate.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And I found, I don't know if this is true.
Because you can just randomly miss.
But it seems the case, so I do it.
Yeah.
Is that if your leading attack hits, it seems way more likely that your subsequent attacks will hit.
Yeah. I don't think that's real.
Right.
But it definitely
always has felt that way.
Feels like it.
It feels that way so strongly that I refuse to believe that it isn't real.
Yeah. It's sort of like blowing on a cartridge. I don't it doesn't actually do anything.
I believe this more strongly than I believe in that.
Yeah. All right.
Because so that's part of it, and then the other part is that it is faster and stuff.
Yeah,
heavy attacks knock back the enemy.
Yes, that can be really helpful.
If you can keep this pattern up of normal, heavy, you can avoid a lot of damage because you keep knocking them back before they can get to you, and they walk fairly slow, especially at the lower difficulties.
Yeah,
and so
on easy stuff is so slow.
You can avoid a lot of damage by just
you just sort of run around
spamming heavy attacks and knocking them back. But
that was my strategy a lot of the time.
But in the mines of Ultimate, no knockback.
They just are coming.
So they just
constantly.
keep coming.
Yeah,
and they're
scary.
Total damage sponges. It takes a million years to kill
the robots
even one
in the
of them.
mines are they're like zombie robots.
Yeah,
it feels like. They're like weirdly creepy.
Well, especially those ones that have like a central control unit. So
those are zombie robots. Yeah,
you can kill them as much as you want, and they'll come back every time until you destroy that like central logic unit.
Pieces fall off of them. It's kind of cool. Like they'll have like an arm missing,
and then they
start
to look like zombies, even the way they walk and
they're
stuff.
cool.
The way zombie they shamble robots. Toward you.
Yep. Good times.
And then there were different classes. There were different section IDs. Like Redria and Blueful and
Yeah, after you
Viridia.
named your character and finished creation,
Yeah,
it would give you an ID, like a color.
It was determined by your name, and you could use there was like a
determined by your name.
generator
Yeah.
online, but it didn't. It was like for a different game or something,
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
different version of the game, so it didn't work. But I did find certain but if you used the same name, you always got the same one, and
Right.
so
So you
once I
figured it
found
out,
one that I liked,
you just would always name it that. Yeah.
the section IDs. The only effect they have,
They
as far as
correspond
I'm
to
aware,
rare
is
drops.
with rare drops. And
Yeah.
so I have
But
Redria
useless.
for my main character, which is probably the worst.
It is.
I looked through all of
Redria
it.
is terrible.
I looked through the drop rates for all the like interesting items in the game,
Yeah.
and they're like worse for Redria than almost any other section ID. It's great.
It's funny. I almost always got the turquoise one,
Skyly,
Skyly,
and that has like the best.
I almost
drop
always
rates.
got that, like without even trying.
Yeah.
But which was awesome because that was like my favorite color.
There was
so.
this blue android character that I have recreated like 10 times. I called her Wave.
Yeah, I remember Wave.
And she was always a blue full, which was great because it
Perfect.
totally
Matched her color scheme.
aesthetic.
I do like the aesthetic of a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
They looked very cool. That's probably why I liked the character customization so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, we played that game a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big part of my sort of childhood of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely by far the only MMO I've really put time into.
Yeah.
I've never played an MMO nearly like that.
Yeah.
Like I know you played WoW and stuff, but
Yeah.
I barely touched the other you don't want to know what other MMO I played?
Zomg.
On
Yeah.
Gaia Online, Brian.
Yeah.
That's the RPG.
That's your.
I got
other
every
MMO.
ring. They were all level 10, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think I did
Yikes.
anything actually impressive
that's a
in
big
World of
that's
Warcraft.
a big yikes. Yeah, really?
Not really, no.
You got epic mounts and stuff, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but like
I guess that's pretty normal though.
I got gifted gold by a friend. That's how I afforded a mount.
Nice.
Let's be real.
Yeesh.
I had one epic item in the entire time I played
Yeah.
the game. Like, yeah.
But this isn't the WoW podcast.
Yeah, no. Well, so if you think the grind in PSO is bad,
Oh yeah, gosh. Ugh.
so here's the thing. Here's one. I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
So there's grinding.
Da-na-na-na-na, it's tangent time with Brian. Go.
There's grinding,
That's the theme song.
which I think everybody basically knows what it is. When you're like going into an area of a game and you're just of an RPG and you're just fighting trash mobs or random encounters with no
Over and over
other objective
and
in sight
over
except
and
for to
over.
kill them for experience.
Yeah.
That's grinding.
Yeah.
And like grinding can refer to more than just
For all
that.
you non-gamers
but,
out there.
But in general, if you're talking about grinding in an RPG, that's usually what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then there's farming, where like there are consumables or materials,
Specific drops from enemies.
yeah, and you are trying to collect a large number of them, and you have
Skins
they
or
have drop
whatever.
rates, and you have to go and either kill enemies or just find these like ore deposits or whatever they are.
I really want that boom arm. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do the forest
And
over
then you
and over.
just keep searching for them or killing enemies to find them and collect a large number of them. And you can use them sometimes for crafting if the game you're playing has a crafting mechanic, or even just for selling or whatever. I despise farming.
Really
I hate it. Farming is my least favorite part of any RPG,
interesting.
which is why which is ultimately part of why I quit WoW.
Yeah.
Because if you don't farm, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because farming is how you're going to make money for one thing. And then if you've got a profession in the game like smithing or something, you also need to farm to get materials to do that.
Interesting. You know, I'm the opposite.
Really?
Like grinding is so annoying to me because I don't get satisfaction of leveling up. Because when I kill a big thing of enemies for the 10th time and I see my EXP go up just a little mustache hair,
Yeah.
I'm like, God. But I'd much rather be looking for a specific item or something. Like I find that a lot more rewarding. So interesting.
So, and I care a little. So if drop rates aren't a thing, and it's like if I kill 10 bears, I get 10 bear pelts. I'm way
That's
more okay
nice.
with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's always I need 10 bear pelts, so I need to kill 47 bears.
Yeah, totally.
That's what
Yeah,
I
I don't
hate.
know. For some reason, I don't mind that.
Part of it is just not knowing how much longer it's going to take you to reach your goal.
True.
That's
true.
a big part of it.
But I find it very satisfying when you finally get it.
Yeah.
Also.
And I don't really care for pure grinding.
Yeah.
PSO is a weird exception
Mm-hmm.
that, again, I don't, I've said earlier, I don't understand why I like this game because it really isn't anything but
Probably all
grinding.
nostalgia.
Yeah. But that's
Still.
the thing is, like, why did I like it when I
Well,
played it?
I guess that's true. Yeah.
I was already 15. I wasn't like a 9-year-old going, whoa, video games are cool. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I had a few video games under my belt. Yeah. So usually if I'm playing an RPG, I like grinding with a purpose. I like at least having a quest to complete. I like having goals to achieve and it's okay if it includes some grinding, or I'm just trying to get from one area to the next.
Yeah.
And I need to kill enemies in order to get there. I'm okay with that. But just grinding for the sake of leveling up,
Yeah,
I do
it
not
sucks.
enjoy at all.
I hate grinding in Pokemon.
Yeah.
I really hate Pokemon grinding.
Yeah.
Just like running around grass, get into a random encounter, kill it, do it again for like an hour. That is the worst.
I
to
feel
me.
like when you're playing
I
a
hate
turn-based
that.
RPG, that when you get to a boss, that if you have killed every enemy you've come across on the way to the boss,
Right.
that you should be prepared to beat the boss. That you should have a high
that's
enough
like your-
damage and health to beat the boss.
That's your thing with RPGs. Yeah. Which is interesting because that's very rare.
Yeah. So if you have to if you then lose against the boss because you're nowhere near high enough level,
Right.
and you need to go back and just grind against
Like the game
trash mobs,
forces you to grind
I
for an
hate
hour. Yeah. Totally. I get that.
and
I get that thinking for sure.
Final Fantasy can be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it
but it's
can.
not always like that.
Yeah. Like I remember playing FF7 when it came out on Switch, like not even a year ago. And it was not, I didn't find it very grindy at all.
No, yeah. And FF7 Remake I felt was even less so.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I got past the, casino and stuff, whatever, the gold
Saucer. Yeah.
saucer. Yeah. And beating every boss like till then, no grinding necessary. So yeah. Interesting. I feel like Paper Mario gave us sort of that outlook.
Yeah.
Because if you fight every enemy you encounter, you're good.
Well, frankly, you can
Like,
skip a lot of enemies and still beat all the bosses.
Well, I mean, you can skip all enemies and still
Well, yeah,
beat the
okay.
bosses.
If you're really min-maxing, yeah, you can skip basically everything.
you can be level 1 and beat the game, but
yeah.
which we're still gonna do that podcast, by
Yeah.
the way. I have the entire game written out of how to
Cool.
beat every boss at level 1.
Yeah.
And I want to go through it because it's super
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
We'll do that at
But
some
anyway,
point.
we'll have another Paper Mario podcast.
Yes. Well, that was inevitable.
I mean, this is just the
It
Paper
is our
Mario
favorite game.
podcast. So anyway,
But yeah.
PSO is good.
Those
Turns
are my
out.
opinions on grinding and farming. And yeah, PSO,
PSO's good.
good game.
So, Brian,
PSO2.
First of all, I will say I know nothing about PSO2.
Okay.
I've seen like a couple screenshots, and you've played it. I have not touched it, and you've saved all the things you were going to say for the podcast. So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say.
Only mentally, so.
Yeah.
But okay.
Good luck.
So, all right.
So it
So
sucks.
as soon as I knew that it was a thing, I downloaded it and started playing. And the way I would describe it is it's PSO, but more everything. There's just more. There is more enough that it's a little overwhelming. That like I'm just like, what do I do? Where do I even start to talk about this game? Because like there are more classes, there are more races, there's far more in-depth character customization.
Nice.
There's a wide variety of different types of quests because there's like arc missions, but then there are quests from like individuals that give you quests, and then there are characters in the game, actual like named characters that you can interact with.
Nice.
And then there are basically the forest caves and I think Mines and Ruins. I haven't gotten past the caves yet.
Okay. Are they actually called that still?
No, but they're
Okay.
basically.
But they're very
those
similar.
things.
Are there Boomas?
No,
Oh.
nope. Different enemies. All different named. Rag Rappies still in it.
Oh, sweet.
Not called Rag Rappies, but they're Rappies.
They're so cute.
Also,
The little chicken chicks.
the Foul spawn.
Dark
Dark Fowls, because the Dark Fowls is always the bad guy in
Yeah,
Phantasy
well,
Star.
he's just darkness incarnate.
He's been the bad guy since the first Phantasy Star.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's like Ganon. Or
I sort of want to
Bowser.
try the original like weird first person RPGs that are the Phantasy Stars.
Yeah, the first Phantasy Star is just like the first
weird.
Final Fantasy, where it's a top down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. Nice. Anyway.
yeah, and like the graphics are somehow even worse than Final Fantasy 1. So
Gosh.
good luck with that if you do want to play it. I did play it a little bit.
That's terrifying.
I think it was 2 actually, Phantasy Star 2.
Yeah.
But
Does it just look horrible?
it is interesting what has carried over.
Yeah.
Like
money's still called Meseta and stuff.
money's still called Meseta. And I was in this one cave and I heard this music playing and I'm like, there's a remix of this in Phantasy Star Online episode 2.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was pretty cool actually.
That's awesome.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
continue with
PSO2. And there's before the only way to get EXP in the original in episodes 1 and 2 is to just kill enemies.
Right.
There is no other thing that offers you EXP. In this game, there are a billion ways to get EXP.
Oh, so like everything gives you XP
Yeah,
basically?
missions give you EXP. There are EXP bonuses for just for unlocking achievements. You can get items that boost your EXP gain over time
Wow.
for a certain period of time. And I just recently got a mag, so you don't get your
cool.
first mag until like level 20 or something, depending on how you play and what quests you do.
Does the first one look the same
No,
as the little?
not exactly. No.
Okay.
I made my first character much like my character in
Yeah.
episodes 1
Well,
and 2.
you gotta. Yeah.
A big male
Big robot.
mech with a rifle. But multiple classes, multiple races can be like every class basically, and
okay.
they added a race, and I forget what they are because
What do they look like?
they're
You
like
don't remember them at all?
they're like elves but dark.
Oh, Drow, basically?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Huh.
I guess
Cool.
I'd have to actually make a character like that.
Yeah.
Also, I was limited to 3 characters with the free subscription.
Oh, okay. That's how they get you.
Yeah. It's like, that's the one thing that would make me pay more is to
Yeah.
have
More characters, man. That's what it's all about. That's what
Yes.
PSO is all about, man.
I have to dig further into that customization.
Yep. So the customization is good.
It's far more in depth.
Yeah.
You can get really you can actually
face
like
detail.
adjust like proportions of like the face
Yeah.
and like shoulders
Shoulders,
and
everything,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Nice.
Colors are only a little bit more in depth than the original game. You're still kind of stuck with certain color
Like
schemes,
presets.
and there are some where like, I can't change the color of this one piece of my armor. It's just part of that
Yeah,
color
it's
scheme.
always orange
So
or something.
I was kind of
yeah.
surprised.
Huh. Interesting.
And then what's weird is occasionally I will see other players running around in the forest or whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
right, I'm playing this online.
Right, this is an
I'm
online
so not
game.
used to this.
That's funny.
And then sometimes there are just random events that show up. Like
Oh yeah. Like an online game.
yeah, some type of enemy will show up in the forest and like, you've got
Because they're
to
like special or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and some like timed event shows up and if you complete it in that time you get bonus
Cool bonus
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because
A rappy hat.
they've
or
done
something.
they've redone all the voice acting in English, but the alerts are still in that super thick Japanese accent English. So it says like
What?
emergency code attack.
That is incredible.
And it makes me laugh almost every time.
Oh, it's like a Godzilla movie. That's so good. That makes it even better.
The other day they were celebrating an anniversary of Sonic, and so it was.
Oh, is
they
there
had
Sonic stuff?
The background music from the city in Sonic Adventure
Nice.
was just playing all the time. Yep, in the like lobby. That's where it was great.
So good.
I was like, ah. And then
the train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
Exactly. Oh, and it's just got Sonic Team all over it. Like,
of course, yeah.
when you're going through the little portal, which the portal that takes you from the lobby to the actual forest or whatever is still there.
Yeah, there's
where you can like move it around with your control stick.
Amazing.
And while you're moving through it, there are in-universe ads for like stuff going on in universe.
Yeah, that's great. They had Sonic Team does that a lot.
Yeah.
I remember like there was like in Sonic Adventure 2 there's a billboard for Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah. And one for Knights.
And like also some like fake Chow movies and stuff, like Chow's in space and stuff.
And I remember you could find like item boxes from Phantasy Star Online.
You could. Yeah.
In
the little like the green monomates and stuff. Yeah,
it's funny because the first time I played the game, I had no idea what they were until we played PSO.
Like, that's the thing from Sonic.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh, right, and wasn't there a rare mag that was Omo Chow?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I just remembered that.
Really
that's
rare
super rare.
Too.
Yeah, I do love that in things though, where like there's rare items that are purely gags.
Yeah,
but they're super hard to get. But are like useless and just
like,
funny looking.
Like Akiko's walk, and it's just a walk, and it's a weapon.
Yep.
And it's really rare, but it's actually not all that good stat wise. It's just kind of a joke.
A joke weapon.
But yeah,
I love those. Same in like trading card games when they have joke cards.
Yeah.
Like the joke Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh cards are so awesome. They're so ridiculous. Anyway.
But yeah. And then so there's a wider variety of weapons and armor too.
Yeah,
and
I would imagine.
There's various other things you can equip that
I
I don't even. So PSO, I had it all figured out. I knew how all the armor worked and stuff. I still don't have any idea what I'm doing in this game.
That's funny. What I'm really hoping is that it like gets ported to Switch. That's what I really want, because then I will absolutely play it.
Oh, you're not going to buy an Xbox One?
No, I'm not going to buy an Xbox One just for PSO 2. Yeah, it's the only console I don't have, and I don't have any plans to get one.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I would get it is for like Master Chief Collection.
Nicolai, you're not going to get the Xbox One X.
Oh no! Oh man, so cool. So I'll have to look and see if it's for PS4 though.
Yeah.
But then I would need an online subscription, which I don't have.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Anyway, please come out for Switch.
I already had Xbox Live, so like great, awesome.
Yeah,
don't even
that's easy.
need to. Yeah.
So are the colors the same, like for weapons?
I don't know yet because I haven't unlocked anything higher than what
I mean, are your base ones green?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
So most likely.
So yeah, there's a good chance. So with your mag, you can give them any item, including weapons and armor.
Oh, weird.
Which is like, okay, now I have a whole nother
eat anything
thing of like theory crafting to do on how to best feed my mag.
Wow.
Like, does it get better attack from weapons or from
like you'd assume, but maybe not. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So because of all the bonuses and stuff and all of the extra EXP stuff, it took me no time at all to get to like level 20.
Okay, interesting. I mean, that's kind of nice,
character.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not in the huge grind.
Yeah.
Also, are there also like, since it's free to play, I'm gonna guess there's like login bonuses and stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't have the time I used to have, so sometimes I don't even finish like a run through the forest in one session because it just takes so long.
Yeah, when we first played PSO, we were kids. It was like summer or something.
Yeah, it didn't matter that it took me 4 hours to get through.
Oh, I'll play PSO for 9 hours. Sure, that's fine.
Because even if you're plenty high enough level for it, the caves still take like an hour and 15 minutes or something to get through.
Oh yeah, well, because there's 3 of them too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, gosh, Oh yeah, you get to cave 3 and it's like, oh hey, it's been 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
Potentially, depending on the difficulty level and like what your damage.
Especially if
is,
there's like 3 of us too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's just a lot of enemies and one of us gets left behind or something.
Oh yeah, and then like
We're
there's
fighting
bathroom
over
breaks
pickups.
and stuff. Like
Like, oh, can we telepipe back? I gotta deposit all my Vasetta or something.
Pizza break.
But good times. Good times still.
So, in a way, PSO2 is kind of everything I wanted from a PSO sequel.
And
I
you don't
actually
really care.
haven't been playing it that much.
Yeah.
There's something about it that, like,
You're like, meh.
I feel like it kind of has a little less charm.
Yeah. It's more
And
just
I don't
basic.
even know why exactly. Just like I don't really know why I like the original.
Does it look too good?
That might even be part of it.
Like-
Actually, it's so high resolution that everything's really tiny and kind of hard to read. It makes me feel like an old man a little bit.
Interesting. That's funny.
So the original game is so low resolution.
Oh yeah.
So low.
Everything's huge.
That everything's big.
Yeah.
And so it's super easy to read and it's like impossible to lose yourself. Whereas in this game, like, I have to actually like look at what I'm doing.
Yeah, I often lost myself in the music the moment I own it. It's a song.
Yeah, I figured. I'm just annoyed.
Brian, you don't lose yourself in the music the moment you own it.
No, I don't.
You're not a big Eminem fan, Brian?
No. Actually, no, not a fan. If I was going to listen to rap, it would probably be from Eminem. But
That's true.
But even then,
See,
it's still rap.
I respect his rhymes.
Yeah. Anyway,
How did this happen?
it's all your fault. I'm blaming you.
Where did this happen? Where did this go?
Do not ever bring up Eminem on this podcast again.
Mom spaghetti.
Arms sweaty. Oh, palm sweaty. Sorry. Arms heavy.
My arms are sweaty.
Your palms are connected to your arms. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Arms sweaty. Knees
Palms heavy.
knees sweaty. Spaghetti sweaty.
Everything's just sweaty all the time.
My God, I'm so sweaty.
I actually have a little sweaty. It's a little bit warm in here.
Well, this was a good podcast.
This was
Ryan.
good,
I think this was a successful end to it. I have nothing else to say about PSO.
Okay.
But we had managed to fill an entire podcast with just PSO. So
well.
good for us.
Yep.
In closing, I will say, when you quit the game, you like pause and you go down to quit game, and then it's like yes or no. And we had a tradition of no matter who was playing, we all went to quit game, went up to yes, and we all count down and try to go 3, 2, 1, and all hit it at the same time.
At the same time, yep.
Very stupid. But
Even
very
if I
fun.
played by myself with 2 characters, I would still do that.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yep.
That's awesome. So with that, we will quit this podcast. Wink. Get it?
Yep.
Any last thoughts, Brian?
Oh, it's a good game, and I don't know why I like it.
And there you go. That's that. Arm spaghetti.
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.